Gentlemen, got quiet all of a sudden. Well, welcome. Welcome to the Blinded American Veterans Foundation Award Banquet. And we're so delighted that you are all here today. We do appear to be running a few minutes late, and that's because we have some distinguished award recipients still gathering, finishing business, and coming to the meeting room as we speak. And I would say as we speak long and long and longer. So we have already reconfigured the program, and we're going to kick off. And whenever they arrive, we will at the appropriate time make their awards happen. But we are so delighted that you are here today. And ladies and gentlemen, we have the privilege to call in now the Military District of Washington Joint Color Team. And what a privilege to call it in. They stand tall for America 365 days a year. And we are so proud they are with us today. Color Guard Commander, would you please advance the colors? Ladies and gentlemen, we're pleased today to have Callie Allen lead the Pledge of Allegiance to our United States flag. But before he does, I just want to make a comment about this young man. He is the stepson of Mike Jernigan, who you will meet later in today's program. His father was a Marine. His grandfather was a Marine. His stepfather is a Marine, as was his father and grandfather before him. I don't think we have a candidate for any other military service other than the United States Marine Corps in Callie Allen, who will now lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Kelly?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, our Color Guard Commander, Sergeant Jack Brass, members of the team, all service, aren't they splendid? You know, I don't think our color guards are getting any shorter. But don't they make you stand with pride as they come and go? Don't they make you stand with pride, as now you will stand with pride for the service melody? That's Master Gunnery Sergeant Andy Schiller and the brass quintet from the United States Marine Corps. Again, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered for the Blinding American Veterans Foundation Award ceremony. And it's always special. It's special because of the people that we honor. It's special because of the people who come to this activity, such as each of you. But it's also special because our MC today is John Henchett. John Henchett. Now, who is John Henchett? You may not remember that name, but he is a Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter, an investigative reporter, the Gannett News Service. He's now a college professor at St. John Adventure College in New York. And I will tell you this about John over the years. He has been a friend of the armed forces. He has been a critic of the armed forces when necessary, but he has been a lover of veterans. He has written on uranium, depleted uranium, and its impact on people. He has written on the immunization program when there were questions about it. And he did investigative reporting that always benefited the military people and caused a ray of light that sparked a lot of activity. John Henchett is special. He has the awards, the Peabodys and the other, but among his collection is the most prized award that he holds dearly and sacred, and that is this association's Volunteer Award. And that brings him back as a volunteer year after year to be your Master of Ceremonies. Would you greet with a wide round of applause John Henchett. John.
After an introduction like that, I think I'm going to run for vice president. But like usual, I'm not sure which ticket. Thank you, Dick. Those buzzers you hear have to do with floor votes, where congressmen are supposed to be. They generally, I ignore them, but there's some important votes going on, and that's why we've changed the order a little bit today. I'm a little bit rattled by that flowery introduction. I'm just an old country professor now. Before we get going, I think I'd like to introduce two guests. One is I noticed the Assistant Commandant of the Marine Corps, General Bob Magnus is here. General. And a man I met just 2 weeks ago, the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Dr. James Peake, former Army Surgeon General. I'm a college professor now, a Cornell medical man, right? I don't teach at Cornell, I teach at St. Bonaventure. It seems to me like I've known John Fales forever, not because of some of the trying things he gets me into, or the fact that I'm his legal bookie, but John and I go way back, further than I'd like to remember. Seems like only yesterday that we were plotting things in various sundry restaurants and stuff. And John is not only one of my dearest friends, but a man that I admire tremendously, because when he decides to get something done, by damn, it gets done. And John has done more, not only for blinded American veterans, but for veterans in general, than many of the high-powered lobbyists on Capitol Hill, and many of the people who you read about in the media who pretend to get things done. John gets things done for the veterans. You can ask either of the two gentlemen I just introduced. John is always thinking and always on the job. John Fales, come here a minute. All these people you see.
The hell is this, 11? Thank you so much, Dr. Henchett. Can you imagine Dr. Henchett? We do go back many years, and I really appreciate your friendship and coming here at your own expense to help with us, honor so many people who help our mission to help our veterans. General Magnus, I'm so grateful that you're here, and I'm going to miss you since you're going to be retiring. But I know you'll never retire from our hearts. Secretary Peake, last time I saw you was at the press club answering certain questions, I thought quite adequately, and hopefully they treat you better in the press than they have lately. And thank God we have our Marines here. I'm a little biased, but Dick Schneider was telling me that he was walking along DuPont Circle, and he saw the sign that said, "Talking dog for sale." So he stops by, knocks at the door, goes inside. He asks the gentleman, he says, "You have a talking dog here?" He says, "Yeah, I've got a talking dog here." He says, "Just go in that room there." So Dick goes in the room, and there's this beautiful Labrador retriever. So Dick says, "Do you talk?" The dog says, "Of course I talk. What makes you think I don't talk?" So Dick says, "Well, tell me about yourself." The dog said, "I was in the Marine Corps for 30 years. I said, "Marine Corps for 30 years? During that period of time, they had me on loan to the State Department, where I sat in at many special meetings with foreign dignitaries because they didn't know that I could talk and I could listen to the secrets." And then after being retired from the Marine Corps for 30 years, I went on to, after 9/11, and here I was at looking for people at the airports. And then I retired. I was a double dipper. He said I retired from there, and now I'm just an old Marine, lasting on my laurels. So Dick goes out to the owner. He says, "Boy," he says, "how much you want for that dog?" And I said, $10. He said, $10? Why only $10? He said, "Oh, it's a BS artist. He wasn't a Marine." Well, listen, I just want to welcome you here, and I'm being a little longer because I'm trying to let it last a little longer than usual, but thank you so much for coming, and God bless you all, and God bless America.
I'm told that this microphone barely works. Is that correct?
You're good.
Sorry. If I speak without the mic, can you all hear me now? A lot better?
The mic works.
Use the mic. All right, I'm going to blast your eardrums. What? Nice guy down front. The next person I'm going to introduce is a comrade in arms with me through many years of journalism. He and I usually use this time to reminisce about all of the editors we made mad and all of the readers we possibly upset. But I've never worked with a better investigative reporter than Carlton Sherwood, and we didn't even know each other when we were assigned to this thing that won us the Pulitzer, and by the time we got through working on it, we realized that we were going to be buddies for life, friends for life. He's recently returned from a fishing trip, which he's a better fisherman than I am, which makes me angry. He's also a great fly fisherman. He possibly can arrange lessons with anybody that wishes to. But Carlton is a person who reflects the determination of John Fales. Carlton goes after a story, he gets it. And I enjoyed working with him. My relatives and loved ones all know that I talk about him even when he doesn't know I'm talking about him, and I only say good things because he's a brother in arms in journalism, which sometimes gets pretty tough. Carlton's more accomplished than I am because I'm an old print guy, and he now does documentary films. So Carlton is going to, for those of you reading your programs, we're switching this around, putting the cart before the horse because we wish to give the congressman time to vote. Carlton is going to present the 22nd Annual Media Awards, which are named after him. By the way, I won one of those. I wonder how that happened.
Well, thank you, John. You know, it's every year it's great to come here not only to hang out with my buddy John Fales, a fellow former Marine, 4th Marines as a matter of fact. John was with 1-4, I was with 2-4 right down the road in Contienne. He was at GLN. And so it's amazing after all these years, almost 3 decades, how the 1967 gets longer and longer and more stories and more details. But I certainly enjoy coming back here for that, but I also enjoy coming back here to meet with my colleagues and to honor my colleagues. And also to be with my former partner, John Hanchett. As we get older, we dare not tell the stories of some of our wasted afternoons here in Washington in the 80s and even in the 70s. But I do enjoy the colleagues and the friendship and the collegial atmosphere. But I should tell you, John's right. I just got back late last night from a 5-6 day trip with no internet, no cell phone. And because I'm also married to a colleague, my wife Susan, who is a producer and a reporter, she was kind enough to take notes. So I have the advantage of being able to go quickly here and to actually make some sense of the backgrounds and the attributes and the honors of the recipients this year. By the way, dear, thank you. You make me look good again. The first award goes to Jane Wittrell. And Jane is some of you know this already, she's a reporter here in town for Channel 4, NBC. And she also was an NBC, or is an an MSNBC journalist. But the great thing is, because I'm from central Pennsylvania, and Susan and I have a son going to Penn State, She graduated from Penn State University with a journalism degree. In fact, John and I have our former bureau chief is a professor up there. She's won numerous honors. The AP Award for reporting, the 7 Seals Award for her support of the National Guard and Reserves. And she also contributed to the book Faces of Freedom, which was a tribute to those who gave their lives in Iraq and Afghanistan. Jane is certainly a friend to veterans. We met each other last year at the National Press Club, where the new Commandant of the Marine Corps was giving a talk during the luncheon. And we chatted about our careers and some of the things that we both began our careers early out in the West. And it was really interesting having a chat with a colleague, albeit a much younger colleague. The thing that most impressed me, though, with Jane's bio, and General, you should know when you retire, you may have a fellow runner. She's completed 3 Marine Corps marathons. I was lucky to be able to hump 1 mile with a bunch of retired players the other day. She's also here with her husband and her family. Her husband, Matthew, who is an active duty Navy, Dennis, and her family. And I remember Al, and I remember son Bill, or brother Bill. I can't remember. I was trying to find the pen, and I couldn't get it quick enough. But they're all here, and I want to personally, I'm humbled every year that I give this award out to acting and working journalists here in town. And I am doubly so today by presenting this award to Jane.
Over here.
Can I say thank you? Okay. Well, I want to thank the group for having me today, Shaft, John Fales. It's such an honor, and I'm so humbled by this. When he said, he wanted to give me the Carlton Sherwood Media Award, I was just blown away. So thank you so much. And to be with my fellow colleagues and in the presence of all of you who serve and have served, thank you so much for your service to our country. You have lots and lots of fans out there that may not tell you that every day, but we do appreciate what you do. So thank you so much for this award, and I'm very humbled.
And since we don't have a producer here, I don't know whether I've got to go long or cut, so I'm just going to move along. The next recipient is Victor Morton. Victor is a Scot, and as a fellow Celt, I think I'm Welsh. I think I can say that we probably have many things in common. The thing that's interesting to me is that when Victor arrived here in the late 70s, or he's currently with the Washington Times, the editor he worked with was a dear old friend, a fellow Marine from Korea. His name was Woody West. Woody passed on several years ago. Woody was my editor at the Washington Times when I was an investigative reporter there. A finer example of a man and a warrior and an editor would be hard to come by. So I know, even though I don't know Victor personally, I know the man who tutored him, and I know Woody wouldn't tolerate junk. So I must think that you're not junk, sir. You're damn good. It also turns out that Victor is also John Fales' editor for his Sergeant Shaft column, which really must be interesting knowing knowing John and as he demonstrated earlier, his propensity for jokes. Jokes. John. Jokes. Which he leaves on cell phones, answering machines, and various emails, and sometimes even transmits them. So I'm sure you've had to pull some expletives, delete some expletives from his copy, aside from transgressions of other kind. The other thing I wanted to mention about Victor is he's also, I'm a movie buff, and some of you may know him as a blogger known as Cinecon, the right-wing film geek. And for sure, when I go home, when I turn my computer on after a week, I'm going to go right to your blog to see what's happening there. Victor was educated here at the University of Texas. Boy, that must have been a culture shock from Glasgow. And also the University of Notre Dame. And that's when he decided to become a journalist. He's been at the Washington Times for the last 9 years. He has a look of an editor, doesn't want a byline. He really hates being outed here in public. That's the way these guys are. I know them. More than likely, though, I won't have any trouble bending his arm for a double scotch at the press club when we're done. Am I right, Victor?
That's fine, yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, that's credentials enough to be an ink-stained wretch here in Washington. Victor, may I present you with my award, sir?
Over here?
Sure. Let's see, I was a Marine for 30 years, and then after 9/11... What, you're not buying it? I mean, come on, I need the $10. As I said, when Sarge asked me about 8 or 9 months ago, what are you doing on June the 13th? I initially thought he misspoke because, this was like back in September, October. And I said, well, probably nothing. We want to honor you. And my immediate reaction was, well, why? Because to me, and I hope, I'm going to use a certain word and I hope it comes out the right way, I don't think I'm doing anything that's a big deal to edit Sarge's column and to work with him on it and make sure that his voice is presented for veterans and for their issues in the best light possible, and making sure that we get the space and so on and so forth. It's one of 100 things I do at the Times, and I was honest. I honestly didn't, think, okay, thank you. It's really not necessary. But I thank the man very much for putting me in for this award, which several of my predecessors, I inherited Sarge, so to speak, from Woody under obviously not the best circumstances, but a lot of my current and recent colleagues have been recipients of this award prior. Wes Bruden, Joyce Price, John McCaslin, Greg Pierce, all people that I've worked with, and I'm honored to join their company. And thank you very much, and thanks to all the Marines and other servicemen and women in my psych. And God bless you all, and God bless America. Thank you.
keep hearing about the joke telling. The dog up here is Brittany. We'll get to Mike Jernigan later, but
She doesn't talk.
she doesn't talk. But
That's a good thing.
when Fales told that joke about the dog that was posing as a fake Marine, I saw Brittany wagging her tail, so Fales, you at least had one happy recipient of that joke. We keep glancing at the clock here and trying to figure out the votes, but as you see in your program, the Memorial Volunteer Awards are named after George Alexander, who was, when I first heard his name, it was always as Mr. Volunteer, and he's a hero to John Fales and many others in this room. And these awards this week will be presented by his daughter, Anne Marie, who works at Duke in technical information. Anne Marie?
Thank you. It's always great to be here, and I'm joined today by my brother George, who is in the audience. We consider today to be Father's Day. Like John, our father was a man of great generosity. Generosity of spirit, generosity with his possessions, with his time, with his love. John, we thank you for the opportunity to be here and to celebrate our father's memory in this great way. Thank you for all your friendship to my family. The first recipient of the George Alexander Volunteer Award is a lady I had the pleasure of meeting named Connie Telesco. She's here today with her husband. They came down from Connecticut by train just to be here for the ceremony. She currently works for Pitney Bowes, and I think she is no stranger to volunteerism because in 2000 she received their volunteer award. She has numerous experiences with volunteering, having volunteered with a healthcare facility for the elderly for 10 years, and most importantly, volunteering through anysoldier.com. And as I understand it, she sends handwritten letters, baked goods. I think every weekend she does quite a bit of baking and sends things that are vacuum sealed, and everything from hand warmers to cooling pops, depending on where the soldiers may be and what the weather may be like. I'm sure she embodies that great spirit of generosity, and we're happy to present the award to her today. Here you go. Thank you.
Would you please come over on this side?
I just wanted to thank Mr. Fales for this honor, and I want to thank my husband. He's very supportive. He doesn't bake any goods with me, but he does clean the kitchen. He does a great job doing that. And he's with me every Saturday mailing packages to our soldiers. And to the men and women that serve our country and have served, I thank you very much.
Could we get a picture right over here? Thank you.
The next recipient of the George Alexander Volunteer Award is a gentleman named Ben Rogers, and we have something in common. I now live in North Carolina, and he's from North Carolina, so we've been exchanging some good memories and some current experiences. He is a gentleman who served 27 years with the Veterans Affairs, Department of Veterans Affairs, and recently retired as the Chief of Prosthetic and Sensory Aids Service with the Medical Center. And he was the representative for the Department of Veterans Affairs on President Bush's executive order on human transportation. He coordinated and served as a member of the United Way Ride campaign. He's counseled people who needed help finding jobs. He has been a great volunteer with the foundation. That's straight from John's mouth to my ear, and that always says a lot. So please join me in congratulating this gentleman.
I'd just like to say thanks to the House Committee on Veterans Affairs and to John Fales, who is the president of the BAVF, for nominating me for this award. John told me I could only have about 5 minutes, so I had to sort of this, but we'll get through it. I accept this award with pride and with great humility. And knowing that when you help someone, not only will the person be in help benefit, but others will benefit as well. I've known John for a good while, and when I first met him, it was sort of unusual. I just came here and I was in a program at the VA Medical Center here in prosthetics and sensory aid service, trained to be a representative. And first day on the job, John calls in and says, hello. I said, hello, Ben Rogers speaking, may I help you? And he says, what time is it? And I said, it's 8:05. And before I could say anything else, he said, thank you, and he hung up the phone. Now, I did not know at the time that John was, gave his Braille watch to be sent back to Denver for repairs. And so it seemed every day he would call, every hour, 1 hour, check on his watch, check on the status of it. So that's when I first met him, but I've got to know him quite a bit over the years. And he's done some great things, humanitarian things also. We were soliciting funds for, to put a statue on campus of the Greensboro 4, and John contributed to this effort. If you don't know, and those of you who do not know, the Greensboro 4 were the first 4 initial sit-in demonstrators at the F.W. Woolworth counter in Greensboro, North Carolina. And so John has helped with quite a few things, and we do get to the track every now and then, and we were at the track recently, and 5th race, 5th horse, and for whatever reason we betted heavily on the horse. First time ever, Rosecross, the horse died. I was trying to get over that particular day. But I say in all honesty that John has been a friend to veterans, and I think that perhaps he's helped more veterans than anyone else that I've known in this town. So I must say in all sincerity that I accept this award, and I hope that others will become and do and help veterans in any way possible. And I want to thank you, and God bless you.
The last award is the Corporate Volunteer Award, and this year it goes to HealthNet Federal Services. HealthNet partners with the Department of Veterans Affairs to provide high-quality, cost-effective health care programs for veterans nationwide. They also, through their community giving programs, support events and organizations that support veterans and their families. Before today's ceremony, I took some time to go to their website, and what impressed me most, it's very clear that their mission is to improve the quality of veterans' lives. And to me, that's a great mission statement to have, and I'm sure you will join me in thanking them for all of their efforts and their support. And I believe there are a number of people here today from the organization. If they would like to come forward, we could present the award.
Good afternoon. I'm Sue Schwartz from Health Net Federal Services, Donna Hoffmeyer, Charles Maynard, and Andrew Goldman. And on behalf of the 1,200 associates of Health Net Federal Services nationwide, I want to thank John and the countless volunteers from the BAVF Foundation who do so much for our blinded vets, and not just necessarily our blinded vets, but our disabled vets as well. We are humbled, we are honored, we thank you. We are going to display this proudly in our trophy case, and thank you, and we hope to be back next year.
I found Ben Rogers' acceptance speech enlightening. Sherwood and I have been to the track with Fales, and he has a propensity for betting on strangely qualified horses. He called me before the Belmont, where I live in New York State, where off-track betting is legal, and they wanted me to put a bet down on Casino Drive, the Japanese-bred horse that was thought to have the only chance against Big Brown. And Casino Drive got scratched that morning with a sore hoof. Geez, John, you were consternated enough over that. I wonder what happened when your horse died at Rosecroft. Giving you a horse tranquilizer. We are vamping here, as TV folks know, doing it poorly. We're awaiting the congressmen who are going to be honored, and my understanding from Chief Fales is that we will wait another 5 to 10 minutes. Is that right, John?
No, you know what we'll see as soon as we start the award presentation. Can we please be respectful and civil?
Okay,
boys and girls.
That makes more sense than my idea, which was to go down to the floor and start screaming from the gallery. I knew that we'd have a short lunch break here, and I see quite a few dead soldiers around. You people are drinking far too heavily for a Thursday afternoon. And yeah, that's right, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Anyway, I'm going to introduce now a Marine who will present the annual George Buck Gillispie Congressional Awards. He served in Iraq. He was in the second Marine Regiment. He is a third-generation Marine. His grandfather was John Fales' battalion commander, is that right?
Yes, it was. Yeah. When John got blown up.
And when John got blown up, he was the battalion commander. And this is Mike Jernigan, and I've only known Mike for a couple of months now, and I'm vastly impressed. And what I want first, I've already introduced his dog, Brittany, who seems a little bit bored by the ceremonies. But Mike has been accepted to Georgetown University. So even though I teach for a Franciscan school, and you'll meet many Jesuits there, I think that's a fine place to go. Well, Mike, let's get to it. The congressmen probably don't have a lot of time, and we want to present some awards.
Is this the podium right here? Yeah. There we go. Hi, how is everyone today? Great? Hey. All right, we got to get this rolling. I guess these congressmen got to go. The first Congressional Award is going to go to a man that has been a great friend of the foundation and has been a leader to and made many commitments and helped the veterans community. Congressman Ike Skelton. Where are you at, sir? Over here. Okay. You over here, sir? There you are, Congressman. What's that?
I'll take it.
Oh, you'll take it. Okay.
Say a few words, Congressman.
The definition of an optimist. would you like to say a few words, Congressman? Thank you very much. This is a thrill for me, and I appreciate it very, very much. What's rather ironic is receiving a very nice award such as this for doing what you love to do. And I'm most appreciative, frankly, of what you and your organization stand for. And you've done so much for so many. And on top of it, you're excellent to work with. Our bill last year reflected a great deal of your endeavors, and we were pleased to include them in our bill. And I want to give a special recognition to Deborah Watt and the Armed Services Committee staff who does so much, and I take all the credit. Deborah, hold your hand up over there. The great Roman orator Cicero, who once said that gratitude is the greatest of all virtues, and I do want you to know how grateful I am, and I appreciate it so very, very much. Thank you, and God bless.
Okay.
All right, the next Congressional Award is going to go to a great gentleman from Tarpon Springs, Florida, which I am honored to present because I am from the same county in Florida, Congressman. I hail from St. Petersburg, third generation out of St. Petersburg, Florida, just south of your hometown. And that is going to go to Congressman Gus Bilirakis. Can you come forward, please? Your family has done a lot of great stuff in Pinellas County, and we really appreciate it. Thank you. No problem. Are we going to hold this while you say a few words?
Just a couple of words. Thank you so much. It means so much. It's really special, Mike. I didn't know you were from Pinellas, but it's special to accept this award, and it's given from a hero. And anything I can do for this organization, please don't ever hesitate to ask me. Sergeant Shaft and I are good friends, and we work together on vets issues, but also issues affecting the visually impaired, because I am also visually impaired. And I came up here, and my #1 priority was to help the veterans, and I hope we're succeeding. But thanks so very much, and look forward to a long-term relationship. Appreciate it very much.
Of course. I'll say it.
During the break.
It's a far drive up 19.
Okay. I would say return to your food and drink, except that you have been munching away. We've gotten through anyway. Fails, is that it?
That's it.
Okay, thank you for coming here once again.